Hello and welcome to another episode of Rosegun's Days. That was all I had prepared. It's one of those again where I don't have anything else to say, but I'm supposed to be talking. That's my whole job here. So instead, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna run you through the content warning for Rosegun's Days Season 3 so far. And then you're gonna get the summary, and then we'll start. And I'm also gonna turn my phone off because it's beeping at me. Yo. Alright. General content warning for Rosegun's Days Season 3 is violence, gun violence, racism, sexual content including mentions of assault, misogyny, alcohol abuse, mental health issues like trauma and depression, and mentions of human trafficking. So if any of that's not your jam, I'm very sorry. We've been very light on the content warning stuff. Well, that's not what I mean. We had a very chill couple of episodes where nothing particularly bad happened. This might be the episode where that changes, so keep that in mind. Take breaks if you need to. If new additional content warnings are necessary, I will mention them right now. Alright. That should be all you need, aside from a little reminder of what happened last time. Because last time, it finally happened. After multiple episodes of build-up, the rescue plan to save Zell's dad happened. What we didn't know beforehand was that this plan was scheduled to go down while Rose and Wayne went to go see Wong for their final meeting. The big meeting where they decide, are they gonna join hands with the GDS or not? Richard and Cyrus are mysteriously absent. We don't know why they're not there. It's literally just Rose, Wayne, Wong, and Meiju. The kids' plan goes off almost without a hitch. They need some subtle help from both Rose and Wayne, but they do succeed. Throughout the evening, Zell's singing distracts the guards, and they make full use of that. Oliver knocks a guard out. He gets to the vault door. Charles steals the key sneakily with Rose's help. Nina slingshots it right to Oliver on the 5th floor? Insane. He manages to get the door open and drop the key back, and Charles puts it back into the lock of Wong's fancy liquor cabinet, by the way. And it's like nothing ever happened. So Oliver goes into this vault, rescues Zell's dad, and then brings him to Shaolan, who is waiting with some of Meiju's men to take him to a safer place. They did it. They succeed. Meanwhile, Wong and Rose go over the terms for their potential collaboration, and it's pretty simple. Either you work with the GDS and hand over the job offer windows, is what they're called, I think. It's either that or war. Those are options. During all the serious business talk, business is a very difficult word. But they go over contracts, they go over the terms. Wong's trying to put a lot of pressure on Rose as well. In the background, Meiju and Wayne are just beefing the whole time, and it's very funny, and I hope it continues during this episode. But that's where we left off, and we are about to find out if Primavera signs the agreement, or if they declare war. Hence the tentative, things might go really badly now, from earlier, so I guess we'll find out. I forgot how to do his voice already, even though the last time I recorded was less than a week ago. I think it changed like mid-episode last time anyway. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Yeah. As long as you get what I'm trying to put down, it doesn't matter. Please be forward-thinking. Oh, pardon me for a moment. I think I already read that last time. So let's go. Wang rose from his seat. Then he went up onto the stage that was receiving a warm applause and congratulated the band on their superb performance. Something in Chinese that I don't understand, and that was wonderful, all of you. Thank you, thank you. More Chinese? The silver lines. And then it says goal. Like in... Huh. That happens occasionally, and I genuinely don't know why, but I would love to know. So if you know why that is and what they're saying, please let me know. We did it. I never imagined it'd go this smoothly. Yeah, me neither, yeah. We're gonna get paid a lot tonight, aren't we? Let's buy a mountain of Nikuman and have a party tonight. Still, your singing voice is not only skillful, but truly youthful and beautiful as well. I'm happy to hear that, Mr. Wang, even if it's flattery. Flattery? Not at all. I forgot. I've lost the point. I never praise anything I don't want. What does that mean? Please don't be a creep. I mean, we know he's a creep. Please don't be a creep. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much for inviting us here today. You're probably going to be in high demand for a while. But don't you ever feel uncertain about what will happen? Wait, what? But don't you ever feel uncertain about what will happen later? I'm not sure. Wang held her shoulder in a familiar manner. Zell got it at once. He was inviting her to become his mistress. Stop being a creep. If you join with me, I can make you the best singer in Tokyo. I want to know how he's going to do that. It probably involves killing all the ones that aren't as good. That are better, I mean. That's not all. I could even show you an executive world that no Japanese person could reach, no matter how hard they worked. An what? You... As long as you're okay with it, I could even show you that dream starting tonight. Ew. Wang's fingers pushed through her long hair, tickling her neck, and he drew closer as though about to touch her ear with his lips. Oh no. At that moment, his fingers suddenly stopped. That's quite an odd tattoo you have there. You couldn't have covered that up with makeup or something? Oh my god. There was a fierce gap between Zell's neat appearance and that disturbing butterfly tattoo. Apparently, even Wang was taken aback. Oh, so he doesn't know? Or maybe he does. Sorry to bother you. No, The two of them smiled awkwardly. Wang gave an awkward apology, removed his hand from Zhao, and slowly walked away. Good? When Wang tried to leave the stage, he must have been absent-minded, since he stumbled and almost fell over. In that instant, Zhao leapt forward and grabbed Wang's arm. She didn't grab his arm because she thought he was in danger. She pulled his arm behind his back as far as it would go. What? At some point, she had pulled out a gun and was now pressing its tip to the back of Wang's head. Now, ow. If you move, I shoot. None of you move.
Just our luck to get found out after coming this far. But this way, our shooting lessons won't go to waste.
That's optimistic. The instant her tattoo was seen, Zell realized that her identity had been discovered. If she hadn't already pinned Wang down, their fates would probably have been settled by now. Wang had noticed. He had noticed that Zell was Hotarabi, and once he'd taken a few more steps away, he was planning to give an order to have them captured. Zell's animal instincts had been spot on just in time, and she'd made the first move. The tattoo reminded me. That laugh came out really weird. Let's just roll with it. The tattoo reminded me. So, you're Hotarabi from the rumors. Several women let out short, shrill screams, but the restaurant remained quiet. In front of the stage, Zell was holding Wang down and pointing a gun at him. And surrounding them, pointing guns in all directions, were the wandering dogs. How did they get the guns in? Oh wait, no, they went over that last time. It was the instrument cases, wasn't it? Wait, no, they checked those, and then they went in, and then... was it Shaolin? I already forgot. They definitely did mention how that happened. Focus. The guards throughout the restaurant silently pulled out their guns, in a manner fitting for an executive restaurant that wouldn't cause a ruckus, and pointed the barrels at them from all sides. I heard that you used your frailty and beauty to draw in your targets like a moth drawn to a light, but this is incredible. So, even I almost became a moth to be invited into a bed of spider webs. Aren't you the one who started inviting people to bed? It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wang. I hear you've been taking good care of my father. I see. So you came here to rescue your father. Such a brave girl. It's true that he's being held in a room upstairs, but in fact, you can't unlock that room with just a key. You see, there's this special device. There's no need to worry. We've already finished rescuing him. What? When did you... I'm sorry, I can't... I'm just really happy for Meiju that he's, you know, having a good time. he's enjoying this, and I love that for him. It seems your prized device has grown a bit too famous. That's insane. You shouldn't have had any chance to steal the key from me. And there's the clocks chiming. And the guards. My device should have been perfect. Please be quiet, Mr. Wang. Calm down, calm down, calm down. By the way, shooting me won't change anything. If you shoot me, you'll be riddled with holes in an instant.
We've got to get out of the restaurant somehow, while using him as a hostage.
Make way. Put down your guns. Don't you care if your boss dies?
You can't tell them in Japanese. You've got to say it in Chinese.
What are you people standing around for? Wayne was almost unable to stop himself from yelling out loud. Even if they had guns pointed at the enemy's boss, their situation was overwhelmingly bad. Instead of standing around, they needed to fight for every second of time and escape. If the difference of guns on each side grew to be overwhelming, this balance would quickly fall apart. The GDS side understood this as well. So, they weren't at all timid about having a hostage taken. They pointed their guns without backing off in the slightest, and quietly continuing to apply pressure. These guys aren't scared at all.
Crap. My instincts are never wrong at times like this. I don't want to ask, but just what sort of instinct is that? Yeah, I don't want to ask either. Same here.
On the inside, Zell was panicking considerably as well. She couldn't deny that she had let her guard down after succeeding in the rescue. She was an assassin, not a gunman. She wasn't Leo Shishigami or Wayne Uedera, sorry. During this time, Wang's subordinates poured in from the entrance of the back door. The guards inside had been kept to a minimum to avoid tarnishing the restaurant's elegance. However, Wang had invited over the head of an enemy organization after all. A sufficient number of troops had been waiting outside the restaurant. They had enough people to counter Primavera's fighting force if it poured into here. Those people had heard about this emergency and poured in, one after another. The guests were all guided outside, and soon, the main hall was clamoring with members of the GDS. Just the ones standing in the main hall, in a circle around the stage, numbered in the dozens. Dozens more grim-faced men could be seen lining the overhanging corridors along the open area, pointing machine guns downwards. Countless gun barrels, gun barrels, gun barrels. Before you knew it, the main hall had transformed into a bizarre space that could easily be considered the stomach of a massive dragon. Is this Primavera's answer, Madame Rose? I knew you called yourself a lady of ladies of the evening, a leader of ladies of the evening, sorry. But to think you could win even Hotarubi over. I see. So, you wanted her to kill me in my sleep, in exchange for setting up a plan to rescue her father. Is that what the plan was?
Madame Rose has nothing to do with this. Ow.
You must understand that I'm old. Would you mind being a bit more gentle? Could you at least let me sit down? I don't mind if you keep the gun pointed at me.
Could I ask you to quiet down a little? Zell, let me ask as well. Madame Rose. Right now, Wang-san and I are in the middle of a very important meeting. So, could I ask you to return him to his seat?
What'll we do?
If she says so, then we can't disobey.
The four of them took Wang, slowly went down from the stage, and headed towards Wang's seat. Then, just as he'd asked, they sat him down, guns still pointed at him. Thank you, Rose-chan. That was a big help.
You're welcome.
So, shall I take this to be your answer? Let me warn you. If I don't make any phone calls to my subordinates, the plan is for them to take appropriate action immediately. I may not look it, but I am the man known as Blue Dragon Wang. I hope you understand that I'm not the sort of man who could be threatened with a gun to make a phone call against his will. The many guns were focused not just on the wandering dogs, but on Rose and Wayne as well. However, those two were also cool and dignified. Even though they were at the end of a gun barrel, just like Wang, they remained calm.
Mr. Wang, this is Primavera's answer.
Rose picked up her wine glass and tilted it. The ruby-colored wine spilled out, staining the document she was being asked to sign red. Wang was stunned for a while, then grinned daringly. Meiji let out a chuckle, as though unable to hold it in any longer. He's having the time of his life right now. He's having such a good night. Now there's an interesting answer. So then, let the war begin. Wang suddenly sat up, grabbed the receiver, and dialed in a number. It's me. It seems Primavera would prefer the old-fashioned style of war. Gather all troops at the Millennium. All of them. All of them! When he set the receiver down, the clocks all began chiming 9 p.m. Perfect. What a perfect time for the clocks to chime. We'll finish this exactly 1 hour from now.
Interesting.
The next time the clocks chime, you really will sign these documents. No. I guarantee you'll be in a situation where you'll be forced to sign. 9 p.m. Wang Huanhong gave the order for all his troops to gather at the Millennium. If this feud could be likened to a game of chess or shogi, then it was beginning with an incredibly odd layout. After all, the two kings, who were usually protected in the deepest parts of their formations, were glaring right at each other head-on, right from the start. If this had been a feud against the tyrant Caleb, a gunfight would probably have broken out in this place at once. However, Wang was different. He was a merchant, and he would prefer not to dirty his hands, no, his castle, with blood. One after another, cars poured into the area. Cars poured into the area surrounding the Millennium. They had all been waiting nearby, ready for something like this to happen. Yeah, we all saw this coming, didn't we? We definitely all did. And, just like in Primavera, Wang's underlings were all fierce fighters who had made it through difficult battles. Also, they had prepared for all contingencies, carrying out more than enough drills to account for the need to quickly strengthen the guard around Wang's castle. guy yells in Chinese. This guy replies in Chinese. And also, this guy does that same... This guy too. Alleys were efficiently blocked with vehicles. In an instant, Wang's castle was becoming a fortress. It was a rapid response, occurring within a few minutes of when Wang set down the receiver. Reinforcements arrived one after another, and their military force grew and grew. Trucks filled with heavy equipment such as machine guns also arrived, and weapons were handed out to the troops who would come as reinforcements. All of this happened in a flash. The efficiency was terrifying. Honored brother, everything is in place. By now, no one can take this castle. Madam Rose, this is my first move. I've strengthened my defense and surrounded you, the king, at the same time. The only problem is the single needle on the inside. Wang favored Zell and the others, who were pointing guns at him, with a confident smile. The only strategy you could have used to defeat us was a surprise attack. And, since that has already failed, you've lost this game.
So, are you finished with your first move?
I guess that means it's your turn next, doesn't it? Assuming you have any moves left, that is. This time, Rose reached out to her phone receiver. Now it was time for Primavera's plan.
It's me. Please do it.
After saying just that, she set down the receiver. Then, she smiled calmly, indicating that her move was over. Wayne couldn't help but groan. The Rose he adored had become so resilient. Say that like it's a bad thing?
Meiju-san, could I ask for 4 chairs?
Understood. And I asked for 4 chairs in Chinese, I presume.
Zell and the rest of you must be tired too. Have a seat.
Despite being in the middle of the maelstrom of a fight scene, with so many gun barrels pointing at her, Madame Rose smiled considerately. Unable to ignore the courage and guts on a whole different level emanating from that smile, Zell and the others gulped reflexively.
But you don't need to point those guns anymore. The feud between Primavera and the GDS will be settled entirely on this table.
What do we do, Zell? Put your guns away. This is Madame Rose's fight now. Don't get in the way.
Wayne-san.
Yes, boss.
Everyone, like they said, we don't need the guns anymore.
Got it. The wandering dogs put their guns away. The GDS didn't. Surrounded by this overwhelming air of intimidation, the 4 of them sat in chairs that had been set up behind Wayne. Well then, let's sit and relax while we wait to see how Rose-chan's move goes.
I don't think it'll take long.
No? Then, until then, let's chat a little. I want you to tell me something.
What's that?
You're a woman who picks fights she can win. I'm sorry, every time Major comes on, like, shows up, I'm just I'm just genuinely really amused by how much he's enjoying this. Just poking at the chaos. Whoops, let's just drink him a coffee.
McCarthy.
Madame Rose may not look it, but she is a woman capable of extremely cool calculation. Also, she's braver than anyone, and she doesn't hesitate to get her own hands dirty. Yes, she is brave. And we know that when she challenged Caleb to a fight, she prepared quite carefully, increasing her chances of victory. That's why I don't understand. No matter how you calculate it, you couldn't find a formula that ends with you being able to beat us in a war. Wang was already building up an expansive simulation. If he were Primavera, cornered in a situation like this, how would he turn the situation around? Turning around an insurmountable economic gap with violence isn't a bad move. Starting a feud has plenty of potential as an option. However, the situation was far too different from what it had been during the feud with the Caleb family. Of course, the GDS wouldn't help them this time, and since the GDS was backed by the Chinese military, Butler and the American military wouldn't be able to help either. It was certainly conceivable that Meiju, a member of the former leader faction, would lend them aid, but it would probably be limited to leaking information. It wouldn't be possible, even for Meiju, to order his underlings to shoot their countrymen. So, at the very worst, it would only mean that information about Wang's troops had been leaked by the former leader faction. Military force, training, arms. No matter how you work the numbers, Primavera had no chance of winning with a frontal assault. And yet, Primavera was launching into a war. I hear that the Japanese sometimes look at recent wars and say this: even though we knew we would lose, it was a war that had to be fought. Don't tell me that you wanted to take one final shot even though you'll lose, like some traditional Japanese banzai charge.
But simply, it's all as you say. We can't expect to win in a fight against the GDS. However, we can make things bitter.
Bitter?
Do you know why spring vegetables are bitter?
I hate bitter vegetables.
Shut up, idiot. My father told me long ago.
When a long winter ends, ants all begin to bud at once. However, when hungry animals awaken from their long hibernation, they try to eat them all up. So, spring vegetables which bud in the spring make themselves bitter to avoid getting eaten as much as possible.
A conflict between Primavera and the GDS wouldn't even be a fight. When faced with the starving dragon that represents you all, we are no more than buds of vegetables that are budding right now.
So, though you will be eaten just the same, you do not want anyone calling you delicious. And it might be more than just bitter. There might be poison inside that makes you foam at the mouth and die. You truly are fools. That war shouldn't have ended prematurely. We shouldn't have ended it until we burned all of Japan to the ground. At that time, the phone in front of Wang rang. However, Wang and Rose continued to silently glare at each other, apparently uninterested in the still ringing phone. Eventually, looking irritated, he signaled at Meiju with his eyes to pick up the phone. Wait? you said something in Chinese.
What is it?
A surprise attack from Primavera. "9:17 p.m. Members of Primavera poured into a street of storehouses in City 23's Small Rock Chinatown. If this many of them had come openly into Chinatown, the GDS should have been aware of it. However, they weren't able to notice it. Which meant that all these people had probably been hiding here since the middle of the day. They hid in truck beds and the like, waiting for the signal to start the surprise attack. More surprise yelling in Chinese.
Get out now. Or do you need us to translate that into bullets before you'll understand?
Don't shoot the ones running away. Let's complete our job quickly.
Yes, boss. Okay, knock the door down. Hey, get the trucks in here. There's no time.
The men flowed into the storehouse. Inside was a massive pile of goods that Wang had been planning to release. Okay, everyone, work quickly. We don't know when those scary GDS boys will show up. Come on, carry these out. Spread it all around. One after another, kerosene cans were unloaded from the trucks they brought in. The men took those and spread the kerosene over the mountains of goods, one after another. The area was rapidly filled with a dangerous stench. Primavera is an establishment for nighttime parties, so we'd better show them one hell of a night. Here's a Primavera-style greeting. At the same time, flames rose along several storehouse streets in City 23. They had investigated all of the storehouses where Wang had stored his goods. And this didn't just include City 23, but City 22 as well. Oh. Wait. My right click didn't work. I don't know why that didn't work. I was not prepared for this, I will say.
God, Maurice's voice.
Here's Primavera's famous lead pasta. It's on the house. Don't worry about making a scene. Show them what we really are. Something in Chinese and then 22? Some more stuff? I'm sorry. I wish I knew what they were saying, but I don't. Wrong time to the clicking isn't working. Oh, do I need to get a minimum? Oh no. I need to start doing better with this. I didn't have to click for that one. I'm so out of practice. Just look away. Look away. This is embarrassing. What are you standing around for? Get us backup, quickly. Can't you get in touch with them?
But today, all our bosses and comrades are gathered at the Millennium.
Wang had gathered all the military force he had at the Millennium. It was only natural. After all, he and Rose, the two kings, were both gathered there. And so, everywhere else was undermanned. None of Wang's bases had enough military force. Yeah, this is like the obvious thing, you know? If he's gathering everyone in one place, hit other areas because they're gonna be empty. That's like basic strategy shit, man. he really dropped the ball on that. I know it doesn't matter, but... yeah, you have to get a minimum of 3, or you can't do the right click thing. Good to know. Just keep him pinned down best you can. Engineers, bring in the mite.
We'll give him some extra large fireworks.
Dynamite? They're gonna blow this place up. Run, run, run! We can't do anything here now. In City 22's storehouse streets, explosions went off, one after another, shooting out fire and smoke. The city was wrapped in confusion, and the sirens of emergency vehicles rang out. Cyrus and the others walked calmly through the raging fires of the storehouse streets, which were lit by the fierce flames.
Now that's a showy fire. Still, all that miso and soy sauce. Can't get enough of that roasted smell.
The many Japanese ingredients in the storehouses were burning. Not building. That's not a thing that happens if you set something on fire. The smell of burning miso and soy sauce unconsciously made their faces relax. It's done, boss. This'll make a great signal fire for him.
So, Pearl Harbor all over again, huh? Pretty awesome to break stuff like crazy without thinking of the consequences.
Okay. We've heard a word from Jameson. He says everything there succeeded.
Ah, good work. I never thought James would screw up.
Let's pull out. We might go head to head with the GDS. The Chinese military is bad news.
This isn't a daytime war.
It's a war in the underworld. It's a war in the underworld. The men got into cars, one after another. The carefully planned simultaneous strikes had burned all of Wang's storehouses in under 15 minutes. Damn, efficient. Cyrus was about to get into a car, but then he looked up, as though reluctant to go. Crimson flames scorched the night sky. It was a scene that brought nothing to mind but war.
Madame Rose and Richard are taking one hell of a gamble. Still, can't say I dislike the picture you're drawing.
The leader of the enemy force appears to be none other than the Grand Boss, Cyrus Saimura himself. Incredible. The Grand Boss came out personally.
Take that. That's what you get for your cheating soy sauce.
The city must be in such a state, filled with the smell of burnt soy sauce.
I'll bet it'll smells.
I'll bet it'll smells. I can't read today.
I'll bet it smells great. I'm getting hungry.
I didn't expect you to set it aflame. I'm impressed.
This attack is all we've got. It's humbling that a fire attack is all we can manage.
You people haven't progressed at all since the sneak attack on Pearl Harbor, have you?
Affairs between nations are one thing. But is that a concern for residents of the underworld like us?
Oh.
Don't take us lightly, GDS. Who do you think this is? This is Primavera's Madame Rose, the one who raided the Caleb family and personally took the top spot in City 23. If you want to have a go, be prepared to lose your own lives.
Rose was a monarch of the underworld, but her expression was always filled with affection. When she went by the name of Madame, she finally wore an expression fitting for such a monarch. Though she seemed to be smiling and harmonious, you could see the strength of her conviction in her eyes, in fearsome way she was able to sacrifice anything. Even Wang had been through his share of rough spots, so he was able to comprehend the resolve behind that fearsomeness and couldn't help but falter. If we and the GDS fight head-on, the result would be clearer than looking at fire. We cannot fight the GDS on an even footing. However, we can at least attack storehouses. We've learned from Caleb. If you're only going to attack, then you can do it with just 7 people. But to defend, even 100 times that many won't be enough. I see. So, even the almighty GDS can't block all attacks.
Same goes in reverse. Primavera can't prevent the GDS's counterattack. The GDS won't just sit around and watch. They'll definitely take revenge. And quickly. Even the GDS can't defend. So what'll Primavera do? Nothing. They can do nothing but burn in the flames of friendship.
Excuse me. Oh boy. My voice. Vocal cords did not enjoy that one.
They can do nothing but burn in the flames of retribution. Look at what you've done. I expect you're prepared for the consequences.
Normally, feuds don't often break out, even between bloodthirsty members of the underworld, because they know that, while it's easy for them to hurt people, it's extremely difficult to protect themselves.
In that case, I'll give you the ending you want as a present. Are you happy now, Madame Rose?
One moment, Wang was laughing loudly, and the next, he was violently grabbing at the receiver, his face contorted like a demon. In a feud, the GDS would be stronger. They had been using that as a basis for negotiations, but now, it was time to prove it.
It's me, Wang Hyunho. Sorry, but I need your help right now. It's nothing too difficult. I just need you to teach the poor, foolish Japanese a lesson.
Wang made one phone call after another. He seemed to be speaking with an incredibly moderate tone, but every now and then, his short temper peeked through. However, Wang was a very high-ranking member of the GDS, and he was also a representative of the Council faction. With just a few phone calls, he could mobilize enough of a force to overwhelm Primavera. At the end, he made a phone call to explain the situation to the Council of Elders which he served. No matter how much force he mobilized, he mustn't declare war without consulting the Elders.
There is no need to worry. Tell everyone that there will be no problem if they leave it to their Wang Hyunho. We have nothing to lose if Primavera is destroyed. On the contrary, if there is any trouble, it'll come from having to explain the disturbance to the occupying forces. Yes,
Leave it to me. Convincing them is what I'm best at. Yes, right. Thank you very much, Elder. In that case, I will declare war on you.
What did he say? It sounds like he got permission to start a war from his superior. He's saying he'll burn City 23 to the ground. If he does that, won't the American military in City 23 and the Chinese military in City 22 get involved? This is World War III starting.
Sorry to keep you waiting. How much time is left now?
It was 9:44 p.m. 16 minutes till the 10 p.m. chime. The time which Wang had announced he would make Madame Rose surrender at.
15 minutes and 25 seconds left. In other words, I've ordered all the bosses to open hostilities at exactly 10 p.m. In other words, these 15 or so minutes will be my final notice to you. We intend to see this fight you've started through to the end. Tonight's disturbance reached their ears as well. They were all livid. And we know the locations of the bases for every crew under your umbrella, starting with Club Primavera. Of course, we also know the gloomy bars where the wild dogs of that Mr. Wayne over there hang out. I've ordered them to burn those all to the ground or blow them up. Many ordinary townspeople will be caught up in the process, but all of that will be your responsibility.
And, in the same way, the disturbances in City 22 tonight will be your responsibility.
And I thought you were a person who didn't pick fights she couldn't win. You've disappointed me.
I think it's best to always be simple. I've never changed that outlook.
It is true that Rosan is a simple person. A fearsomely pure person who will rush madly forward for no reason other than to make the future better for her countrymen. Then why are you taking hostile action against me? Our military force is many times yours, as is our economic scale. You have everything to gain by pleasing me and nothing to lose. The Japanese city folk would be guaranteed a more enriched lifestyle thanks to my extra cheap goods. And you've rejected that because of your own personal ideology. The enriched lifestyles of the people have been sacrificed for your own xenophobia-based claims. You say this will form a better future for your Japanese countrymen? That's a lie. You're nothing more than a dictator, sacrificing the lifestyles of her countrymen for her own ideology.
If I joined with you, it is indeed possible that the people's lifestyles would be enriched. However, you use the distribution that supports their lifestyles as a weapon to get your way. Normally, distribution and business transactions aren't based on money alone. There needs to be a relationship of mutual trust as well. You used that as a weapon. From that point onwards, the trust, the heart of the distribution you offered, died. The enriched life you proposed would be a dead enrichment, without trust. A fake enrichment, like painting a dead tree green. An enriched lifestyle is based on relationships of mutual trust. The enriched lifestyles you proposed, which ignored this fact, were nothing more than threats, acts of intimidation.
Yep, accurate, yep. Isn't it the responsibility of one who guides their countrymen, her countrymen, to choose the option that's most practically profitable, despite all that?
Right now, if we surrendered for the sake of the enriched lifestyles that lay before our eyes, It would be the same as selling our futures.
One could probably guarantee enriched lifestyles for City 23 as long as it was obedient to him. However, he would probably put the screws on distribution over and over every time he needed to make a demand. They would have to accept these unreasonable demands constantly in exchange for their enriched lifestyles. However, as long as they contented themselves with that, this enrichment would be guaranteed. The cost wouldn't matter to them because they'd be getting no less than what the people from now had asked for. It would be a decision their own people had made after calculating profit and loss for themselves, so they would probably learn to live with it.
However, there's no way our future children would accept it, after inheriting the decision we made regardless of their own will. The thought of surrender is only sweet to those of us living now, because if we just bow once, we can be free from fighting. However, our children will be forced to be subservient to you forever, through no fault of their own. They'll be like that forever and ever, without ever being given a chance to choose. That's why I decided to choose our future countrymen over the now.
Your future countrymen?
The thing I'll pass on to our future isn't a humiliating decision we made for our own reasons and for the sake of the enrichment in front of us. What I want to pass on to the future is the right to make that decision.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
It's self-determination of peoples.
Aww. Oh, that's so cute. What the hell?
It's the right to decide their own fate, their lives and lifestyles for themselves. It won't just affect our lifestyles now, but those of all our children in the future. Think of how precious that right is, and how terrifying it would be to lose it. If we sold that precious right to you, our future children would scorn us forever. It's a right we must protect, even if it means sacrificing enriched lifestyles for those of us living now. That's the one thing I want to pass on to our future countrymen. That is Primavera. Even after I die, as long as Primavera exists, it'll be able to speak for our weak countrymen. I'm sure the future Primavera will pave the way to something suitable for the new era.
Most likely, almost everyone present was incapable of understanding how precious this right of self-determination of peoples was. However, Zell alone understood, and she felt a heroic resolve that brought tears to her eyes. A resolve to protect that right, no matter how much she had to dirty her own hands.
We won't surrender. We won't sell away the future of our children for the peace and enrichment placed in front of us. For these children, for Zell, for Oliver, for Charles, or Nina, they will decide their future. Did you think I would let a decision made in the musty age of 1948 sell away the future of our children in the year 2000 and onwards?
To one, this conflict existed only to force his opponents to sign these documents. However, to Rose, this was a fight to protect her future countrymen's right to self-determination. So, the attitudes the two felt towards this conflict were far too different. Wang was planning on a commercial conflict, where gain and loss were clear. So, he wouldn't fight in a way that led to loss. However, Rose was different. She was prepared to abandon everything in the now for the sake of the future. And so, the common sense of her way of fighting overturned every part of Wang's sense. It's maybe not the best time to mention, but that reminds me of Echo, where it's like, you know, the chessboard flipping principle only works if you're playing the same game, essentially, if your opponent is playing by the same rules as you. So it makes sense that this totally threw him off and he wasn't expecting any of this. And he doesn't know how to respond now. Suddenly, the phone in front of Wang rang. Meiju took it, but after an exchange of words in English, he handed the receiver up to Wang. What is it? Who is it from? It's Don Castiglione himself, from the Castiglione family. Don Castiglione? Why is he calling me? Or why is he calling me? Why? I know how to pronounce this. The Castiglione family, a ferocious Italian-American group that controlled City 7, which was once Sumida City. This was a Japan-based branch of a huge family on the American mainland, and the main group was an orthodox mafia, which remained faithful to its long history and secret oaths, even into modern times. Hey, it's been far too long, Mr. Wang. I hear you've started playing quite an interesting game, have you not? Will it be Noir or Bruges? Well, no matter how it goes down, I imagine you'll be the one on top. Still, I find no pleasure in betting on a sure thing. Don Castiglione, I don't understand you. So, the Castiglione family has decided to place its bet on Madame Rose. But, ridiculous! Why? That's a stupid question, mister. I'm Italian. Do you really need me to explain why I bet on an earnest, beautiful girl instead of a fat, corrupt merchant? Impossible. It was impossible that the Castiglione family would take Primavera's side. Even they couldn't want a hostile relationship with the GDS. They had nothing to gain. Why would they look at a feud they should obviously handle with a wait-and-see attitude, and instead choose to support Primavera's side? I'm handing the phone over. He wants to talk to you too. He? I don't know who this is. Neutral voice, normal. I've taken the phone. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wang. Oh, I don't think we've seen that name before, have we? Am I crazy? I'm Silvio Orlando, consigliere to the Orlando brothers family. Now it's the consigliere of the Orlando brothers? City 21, which was once Adachi City, bordered City 22 to the northwest. The force controlling it was the Orlando brothers family. I do believe we've heard of the Orlando brothers before. A while ago, and it was like an offhand mention, but I could be wrong. Not a mention, but I could be wrong. It was the craziest new force on the west coast of America, which had been built up in a single generation by the Orlando brothers. It had no history at all, but it reveled in its position as the most brutal and ruthless, and was made up of the best fighters who had survived the fierce European theater. Huh? Moving on. Though I apologize for our rudeness, I must report that the Orlando brothers have decided to welcome Miss Rose Haibara as a new friend. If anything were to happen to Miss Haibara's person, we Orlando brothers are prepared to stand by her, even in the depths of hell. Got it? You look so sad, holy. Good for us, not for him. Why Rose and not me? How can she guarantee you more profit than me? How? Wang gripped the receiver and glared into Rose's eyes. However, Rose just calmly and boldly glared back. His advance information had told him that Primavera was making preparations to sell the special offers windows. He had been sure that they were planning to surrender to the GDS and hand them over, but it couldn't be. It couldn't be that this woman... Don't tell me. You sold the special offers windows.
Some of the special offers windows, and harbor rights related to smuggling, as well as several other underworld privileges that were possible to sell. We've also disbanded the Japanese labor union and secured the income source provided by the special offers windows, just like everyone else.
You went that far. Just to win this feud, Madame Rose had sold off so much. The Orlando brothers and Don Castiglione have decided that supporting Primavera would be more profitable than supporting you. Madame Rose is insane. Are these people willing to go so far to win? Are you willing to sell off everything you have in the now to win?
What value is there in the now? If you can sell the now to buy the future, then I'll sell all I've got. We are just one link in the chain that ties our culture to the future. We believe that, as people tasked with bearing children, raising them, and handing our future over to them, this is the right way to live.
Let me hand the receiver over to yet another friend we have. Here you go, mister. I'll just keep the neutral voice because again, don't know who this is. Hey there, Yuan. Yuan Ho. Never thought I'd end up talking to you again. This voice was speaking Japanese. However, Wang hadn't forgotten that threatening tone that I completely did not bother with, but okay, noted. Who is he? Sorry. I should keep reading because I'm not getting my answers, but I'm speculating, Gears are turning. You're supposed to be dead. It's Caleb, of course. Fool. Did you think... Whoa, that went weird. Did you think I'd be finished off by a little girl's bullet? Don't take me so lightly. You really are a fool. That woman in front of you, she's the one who defeated me and took my family away. Let me introduce myself again. I'm Kid Eiji Sohei. A Wakagashira Hosa of the Boso Satomi Alliance. President Satomi has left the handling of this case entirely in my hands. Treat everything I say as though it came from that sly old man. If you plan on shooting it out with that woman, I'll storm in there with 1,000 fully equipped veterans. Caleb. I thought you were a man of pride. How laughable that a man of your caliber would be wagging his tail for the little girl who defeated him. Don't mock me. We soldiers. No. It's the same for soldiers in your Chinese military and the American military. We can die because it's for the sake of our children's futures. That's why we can sell off the now, our own lives. Don't take us lightly, you merchant bastard. Why don't you go cower in a corner and try to calculate how much cash my life is worth? This is Primavera's answer, Mr. One. Oh, that was Richard. I'm still doing the other voice, not that there's a difference. Richard. No. This isn't just Primavera's answer. It's the answer from all our countrymen who will have kids, raise them, and hand them the future. Those of us in this era will take responsibility for this era. But we won't let you ruin the future for our kids, or Yuji and the others. It isn't permissible for our selfish decisions to throw away their rights in the future. Yuji, a reminder of Richard's lost younger sister, the child he had loved and raised as his own. Even he was now 2 years old and was starting to show signs of his human will. If Richard hadn't been engaged with raising a child, he would certainly have opposed Rose in this. Surely, he wouldn't have been able to see anything but the now he was living in. He might have told her to spare the money and play along with one's game. However, as a parent with a child, he couldn't help but sympathize with Rose's concern for the future. It's the right to decide one's fate for oneself. We might give up that right for ourselves, but we won't give it up for our future children. During that time, Meiju made another phone call to check the situation. As a result, he learned that all the forces in the surrounding cities had formed an alliance with Primavera, for no reason other than to fight the GDS, and in such a short time. For that reason alone, Primavera had spent an incredible amount. Of course, what they got in return was extremely large. They abandoned the wage increase for their countrymen laborers and sold off various privileges throughout the city. And most importantly, they had refused the enriched lifestyles that Wang was trying to offer them. Their countrymen living in the now would probably criticize Madame Rose's decision. They would probably be remembered as fools who chose pointless chaos and neglected the lifestyles of the city folk. However, their people still had the right to self-determination in the form of Primavera. They had shown their unshakable will, their willingness to exact retribution on anyone who infringed on the rights of their countrymen, even if it meant abandoning all they had. It was that precious. It was that necessary to pay a high price to achieve. It was that important to protect the pride of their future countrymen. Meiju says something in Chinese. A cornered rat will bite a cat. This proverb, famous even in Japan, originally came from China. It's a famous phrase that appeared in the Discourses on Salt and Iron, written in the BC era. The subject of this quotation, Chen Sheng, was the ringleader of the first farmers' rebellion in recorded history. Farmers were conscripted and dispatched to protect the country's borders, but thanks to bad weather, their chances of making it there by the appointed time grew hopeless. By the law of the day, if they didn't arrive by the appointed time, no matter the reason, they would all be beheaded. If they were going to be executed anyway, why not choose to leave a name for themselves and die by their own will? The people agreed with Chen Sheng's speech, and in 209 BC, the Wu Guang uprising broke out. It was the first rebellion of farmers ever recorded in human history. Part of this verse was passed on to Japan and became the proverb about a trapped rat fighting a cat. When the weak are cornered, they will sometimes strike back in a manner that would be unthinkable by the laws of common sense. No matter how weak a foe is, it's dangerous to corner them too completely. That was the original teaching of the phrase. It was an unwritten rule known by all residents of the underworld. People with nothing to lose are at their most dangerous when they abandon their own lives. That's why residents of the underworld try to make peace with each other as much as possible, under the guise of decency and moral codes. It was something that Wang, the merchant, didn't know. He had mistakenly thought that, like in chess or shogi, if you completely corner your opponent with the most practical moves, you will certainly win. He raged and gaped. After flipping through several fierce emotions, Wang stopped with a roar of laughter, as though laughing through tears. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm single. I don't understand all this about a future for children. Madam Rose, you're single too, aren't you? Not only do you have no kids, but you're not even married. So what do you know about this future for children? How can you possibly know? I mean, it's not like you need to have children to care about other human beings, holy.
Because I'm a woman.
Because you're a woman?
From as far back as we can remember, we've been conscious of our heaven-granted role of bearing new life within our bodies. That's why women know. Because we've lived a long, long time thinking about it. That's why we know. We know the future is more precious than the now. And when we experience love and start planning to give birth to children, we think about it more and more.
When we do that, we realize that the now is nothing more than a step on the path that leads to the future. In the first place, why are humans born, raised, and then raise children and pass the future to them? I'm not God, so I don't know the answer. But in the distant, distant future, until our future's children make a very, very important decision, it's our mission to pass on what we have. That's what I thought. Until that day, we must pass it on into our future. We have to protect a future where our children can do what they want freely. The one thing we must never do is anything in the past. Is anything in the past that is the now, which would restrict our children's future.
So, starting now, Primavera will not be an organization that protects its countrymen of the now. It will become an organization that protects the future of our countrymen. Primavera is going to continue accumulating power, so that someday, when our children in the future make a very important decision, they'll have that power to help them. Until that day, we will, protect our self-determination of peoples, no matter the cost.
With a face that looked tired of laughing, Wang leaned far back and looked up at the vast open area above. He had done as he willed with a vast sum of money. He had used it to make several large-scale deals. He had even been proud of his ability to take one of the world's natural laws and do what he pleased with it. This man leaned back, dumbfounded by the blow he had received from the scope of Rose's range of vision, and laughed, unable to do anything else. Honored brother, another phone call. Of course. It's the Council of Elders, right? They want to know how I'm going to get the situation under control, don't they? He didn't need to pick up the phone. By now, the Council of Elders would be in a frenzy, as if someone had stirred up a hornet's nest. 3 families in neighboring cities had announced their hostility at the same time. Even the GDS couldn't defend against all of them. This happened because you cornered Primavera too far. So figure out a way to take responsibility. I'm sure it's something like that. The old people say they know nothing, saw nothing. They push all the blame on the young and play dumb. There is nothing but the now inside them. There isn't even a fragment of the future. I see. So that's how I look to you, little May. Like that, you'd see nothing attractive about my life. After all, I have nothing but the now. There is no future inside of me whatsoever. Honored brother, if only you had realized that a little sooner. It should have been possible to have a future where we walked together to guide our countrymen. It makes me glad to hear you say that. Pardon me. Forget the phone. There's no point in going out of our way to talk. Dealing with those old people who see no future and might kick the bucket at any time just seems so pointless now. Honored brother, even so, I ask that you answer the phone. At the other end of this phone lies the future we must pass on. Owner, pardon me for the interruption. It's terrible. The single man who had dashed in rapidly reported something to Wang with a pale face. Wang looked shocked for an instant, but then returned to his calm face. Meiju appeared to have figured out what had happened without asking. Are you gonna share? Apparently not. Apparently not. "9:55 p.m. The residence of the late... I'm just gonna wing it. Sun Zilong, which was the main base of the GDS, had been attacked. With a scrupulously prepared plan, an overwhelming force of troops had poured in, taking control in an instant. However, the attackers weren't from Primavera. They were the GDS's own countrymen. The one leading them was a young man. To them, it was a coup d'etat, but to him, it was just coming home. One guessed the identity of the person at the other end of the phone Meiju held. Young Lord, it's been a long time. Damn, he looks fancy.
Hey, run home. It saddens me that our first meeting after so long has to be over a phone.
Not at all. It is truly a delight to have you speak with me at all.
Every now and then, yells and gunfire could be heard from the other end of the phone. It was unlikely that any of the elders would give up gracefully. By settling accounts with the old era with blood, the young hero builds a new era. It was simply a repeat of that part of their home country's grand history. Thank you for taking care of the GDS until now. Because you bore it splendidly, the organization has grown large. It's grown even more resilient than when my father built it up in his youth. That is a result that you and they should be proud of. In my father's place, I promise that the new GDS will contribute more and more to protecting our countrymen in the new era.
Young.
For the sake of our countrymen's future, thank you for taking care of the GDS.
Wang understood everything. From the very start, this hadn't been a small skirmish between him and Rose over money in the form of distribution. From the very beginning. Excuse me. Finish my coffee really quick.
It's getting cold.
From the very beginning, this had been their true goal.
I've had the Council of Elders take responsibility for putting the GDS in City 22 in a dangerous situation.
I imagine so. None could face this unprecedented danger for the GDS, but you, young lord. Thanks to this failure, the council faction will be purged and reshuffled. You will immediately reconcile with Primavera, which has been in collusion with Meiji from the beginning, and extinguish this crisis. With your ability, you will make the board of directors acknowledge your succession. Splendidly done. A succession so splendid, I wish your father could have seen it.
On this night, the same thing happened with Bashan Bang in City 8.
Bashan Bang? Again, Wang figured it out right away. Bashan Bang was, as the name indicated, controlled by 8 cunning elders. However, factional infighting between the elders had led to the danger of its splitting in recent years. Concerned over this matter, the young leaders of Bashan Bang had joined hands with Sun Jilong, the young lord, and each side had lent its strength to the cause of alternating generations within their respective organizations. Even among the rowdiest members of the GDS, there were few with the courage to stand against the Council of Elders. Even if they were forcibly mobilized, if any of them got scared and turned traitor, the coup d'etat would fail. So, he had gotten his military force from Bashan Bang. In the same way, Meiju had lent his elites to aid in the coup d'etat
in Bashanbang. Makun, the new leader of Bashanbang, and I have already formed an alliance between the new GDS and the new Bashanbang. The alliance between City 22, and City 8, which lie to the north and west of City 23, should apply significant pressure on Primavera. This way, the two fighting forces will regain their balance. That's more than enough reason for Primavera and us to declare a ceasefire.
And, in exchange for the fire attacks of this night, Primavera agreed to demand to disperse the Japanese labor union. Wait. Primavera agreed to the demand to disperse the Japanese labor union, with the two accomplishments equaling each other. What? I completely whiffed that entire sentence. In exchange for the fire attacks of this night, Primavera agreed to the demand to disperse the Japanese labor union, with the two accomplishments equaling each other. Magnificent. A splendid plan, young lord. From the very start, the feud between Wang and Rose had been planned out to the last step, leaving only him out of the loop. Primavera earned its name as a small force from a defeated country, not one to be taken lightly. The new GDS, faced with that fact thanks to the recent incident, would probably try to find a way to coexist without stirring up trouble. This way, finally, Primavera and the GDS would be able to form a relationship of mutual awe. The GDS had made use of the fight with Primavera to purge the Council faction. Also, after successfully forming an alliance with the new leader of the Bashanbang, one could say that they had become the most powerful force in eastern Tokyo, in practical terms. Faced with such a massive force, the Castiglione family and the Orlando brothers would probably return to their former neutral positions. Those two families and the Satomi alliance had gained from the deal, in the form of the several privileges Rose had released to them. They would probably withdraw from the stage, for now, without causing any more trouble. In exchange, Primavera had sacrificed a lot. It dispersed its Japanese labor union, returned labor wages to what they once were, and brought back the old, low wages. That's the same thing twice, though. Two of those are the same thing. Moving on. Thanks to the GDS, distribution from Chinatown would be restricted to a degree to avoid provoking Japanese merchants. For that reason, City 23 would see the distribution it received lessen. Prices would probably be forced to rise some. And there was the brief but passionate soy sauce fever among the Japanese. Primavera, which had burned the storehouses containing soy sauce, would almost certainly fail to receive the public's sympathy. The people spread the word. Madame Rose is a scoundrel. She interfered with the sale of cheap soy sauce, which was getting in the way of her selling soy sauce for high prices. At that time, the majestic, metallic chimes indicating that it was 10 p.m. Surely, that chorus marked the change of time and eras. It symbolized both things at the same time.
Wonhong, will you lend your strength for the sake of me and our countrymen?
What are you saying? I am an incarnation of the old values of the old era. The grime of the GD... I can't talk today. Let me just do that one again. the grime of the GDS. Is that not so? I am bound, young lord. And I, Wang Yuanhong, am still the man who swore loyalty to the Council of Elders. Actually, you and Meiju made a bet at one point that if Meiju's whole deal, like if he won, you would join him. So, not entirely, my guy. Nothing can overturn that loyalty. Not even you.
Yes. Even I have never doubted for a moment that you were a deeply loyal man. The lack of virtue that made me unable to gain your trust is my sin. Thank you for what you've done for the GDS until today, Yuanhong.
Farewell, young lord. I leave in your charge the priceless futures of our countrymen. Wang coughed violently, hit his chest several times, then set the receiver down. His face was covered with tears and seemed to be flushed red. The man who calculated everything in this world with money wanted to believe he had discovered something in his last moments. His last moments. Yes. Wang already knew his time of death. You win our bet, little May. As promised, I give you all of my remaining time. Curses rebound on the one who curses. The secret poison he prepared for Madame Rose's assassination had never entered Rose's glass. It was retrieved by Madame Rose, and then passed into Meiju's hand. Meiju? Holy... I did not see that coming, I will admit. I kind of assumed, I don't know why, because literally nothing we know about him tells us otherwise, but I assumed he would go easy on Wang. Honored brother. If you already value the future more than the now, which has already become the past by the time you speak of it, then you won't lose your life because of something like a moss-covered poison created by our ancient ancestors. Your concern for your countrymen's future won't be stolen by a mere curse from the past that's grown stale over thousands of years. Come on, people. Take my unhonored brother to a hospital. His heart seems to be ailing. From the young lord, give my honored brother rewards and rest that are fitting for this hard worker who has supported the GDS. Or maybe he's going easy on him. I guess we'll find out later. It gradually started getting noisy inside the restaurant. Apparently, they were starting to hear what had happened this night. The stretcher was carried out, and Wang was placed on it. Though Wang's face was twisted in pain, he grinned and sat up. Then he spoke in Japanese. And I'll see you later, little May. Until our next meeting. I will see you then, honored brother. At my favorite... I'm like skipping over syllables. This is a problem. At my favorite establishment. I would like to introduce you to a special place that I've never shown anyone before. Well, guess I can't be dying then. That's the best sort of medicine. Wang was carried out. His consciousness was already fading, apparently. From the bottom of his heart, Meiju prayed for the recovery of this man he respected. Okay, so I wasn't wrong. Despite all evidence to the contrary, but still. I knew it. I called it. Rose had apparently contacted Richard through the phone.
I see. Great. We don't know what will happen for a while, so be extremely careful. Yes, thank you. I'm counting on you.
She set down the receiver, then turned to Zell and the others with a smile. However, Zell's group was pressured by that smile, and their faces tensed for just an instant. Rose was just a bit sad about that, but she accepted it. After all, she was abandoning the now for the future.
Good news for you four. Zell's father has safely arrived at Primavera. Oh, thank you very much. We did it, Zell. Your dad's safe. Lane-kun. Richard-kun and Cyrus-kun will arrive here shortly. When they do, would you mind seeing these four off?
Yes, madam. Whoa, that's quite a big reception party you've got for us. Welcome, Cyrus-san. Your fine suit has quite a delicious aroma about it to me. Ah, you got me. The smell won't come off. Well done, Rose. I'm glad you're safe.
I've been told that the young lord, Mr. Sun Jilong, will be here soon.
Well done to you too, Wayne. Were you nervous? It was all a farce. Why'd I get scared? Now there's Wayne for you. You've got guts. Now that's what I call a man. He was definitely scared. What are you talking about? At the very least, he was real worried about these kids. I mean, I assume he did know about the plan, but I wouldn't blame them if they hadn't said a word to him. It's really mean, I'm sorry. Rose-san, I'll see these people off. Please excuse me for the time being.
Yeah, I'm counting on you. Good work tonight, all of you. And I'm sorry, for various reasons. I really am sorry. But you've done nothing to apologize for.
Rose apologized so seriously that it felt strange. By this time, Zell was beginning to realize something. Why had the Wandering Dogs' plan to rescue Zell's father taken place on this night? We probably weren't expected to succeed. The thing they wanted most from us was to start a disturbance in this restaurant, the Millennium. That would then be used as a diversionary tactic, making one gather all his troops around the Millennium. That was why, at the end, Rose had apologized for making use of them and including them in the plan. Still, Zell didn't feel bad about being used. If it had been any other way, they wouldn't have gotten support for their rescue attempt. And more importantly, she thought of Madame Rose, who was determined to live life dirtying herself. With a complicated mixture of respect, awe, and possibly pity.
It's like so much has happened. I'm totally hyped up even though I'm so tired I could die. We did it, didn't we? Yeah, we succeeded.
No, we can't let our guards down yet. I won't believe it until I see Zell get reunited with her father with my own eyes. A good attitude. You all did well. I hate to say it, but you must not speak of what you did tonight to anyone. The one-night feud between Primavera and the GDS would now be settled by the heads of the two organizations. These four would not be given permission to speak about what happened in the restaurant on this night. But even so, I guarantee that tonight, you fought together in a vital battle that will decide Primavera's future. I'll never let anyone mock you, not ever again.
Wayne-san.
You're a legend among the wild dogs. You used your bonds with your comrades as a weapon, along with a carefully laid plan to accomplish the impossible. I'm glad, boss, but we aren't wild dogs anymore.
We're wandering dogs. The ultimate four-person group. Led by Zell Saijo.
Again, skipped a syllable.
Everyone.
No. The Wandering Dogs are disbanded, starting tonight. You three will return to the Wild Dogs. Zell will leave the city with her father. The moment they heard those words, Oliver and the others leapt from their seats. I won't let anyone object to our bonds. Not even you, boss.
Even the assassination attempt on Madame Rose was because of circumstances beyond her control. Zell never personally wanted to kill her.
Isn't it okay to withdraw her banishment by now, boss?
We're so strong because we got a four-person group, including Zell. What are we supposed to do without her?
Don't be so dependent. How long do you intend to rely on Zell for everything?
Wayne-san, you can't say that. You can't.
We'll always be with Zell. Always.
If you force us to choose between you and Zell, I'll pick Zell, got it? Zell understood us. She understood us losers and fought with us.
Zell's... Was that neat? No, it was Chart. Okay. Zell's our comrade. Our family. If you're trying to tear us apart, I won't hold back. Not even against you.
Everyone, wait. Listen.
Zell already understood. She'd already been in Primavera's care for a long time. So, now it was time for her to make up for it. Not to return the favor. She had to stop being a burden to...
You all know, right? My father and I are fugitives, wanted by the Chinese military. For all we know, someone with connections to the GDS might leak information about us to the authorities. If that happens, my father and I could become the spark that starts a new conflict. After I've received so much from Madame Rose, I can't continue to be a burden any longer. If the Chinese military learned about Saijo Hotaru and Saijo Yukishi, the GHQ would probably order the City 23 occupying forces to take her into custody. Primavera, the GDS, City 23, City 22, the American military, and the Chinese military. It could grow into a conflict involving all these groups. Right now, the best way Zell could repay her debt to Primavera was to disappear from City 23 as quickly as possible. By this time, even Oliver and the others realized that this car wasn't heading for the music shop. So, tonight, the Wandering Dogs will be disbanded. You'll all return to the Wild Dogs and continue to work for Primavera under Wayne Sound's leadership. No, that's not quite it. I want you to support Madame Rose for our future. No! Even if you don't like it, there's nothing we can do.
I won't accept it either. We're family. So why? Why? We lost our families in the Great Disaster. Why should we have to lose our family again?
Oliver.
Let's all run away with Zell. All across Japan. We'll take down anyone who tries to chase us.
We've slept in alley trash heaps before. We can survive anywhere in Japan. That's right. Together, the four of us can get by anywhere in Japan. No, the world. Everyone? Everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not like you're being separated by death. Zell will hide in a distant country. That's all this is. It truly would be a distant, distant country. A country so distant, even time of day and the seasons would be different. Oliver and the others could only sit there, speechless, while wrapped in a stunned weariness.
When things cool down, I'll definitely come back to City 23.
The three didn't say anything in acknowledgement. Far too many things had happened during this single night, and their minds were blank. Breaking through that silence, Zell spoke in a louder voice than before.
So, everyone, come on. Oliver, Charles, Nina, answer me.
Yeah.
Okay. We're listening. Yeah, you're all listening closely, right? So, let's make a promise. Promise you'll keep improving your skills and become excellent wolves in the Wild Dogs. And when we're reunited, make sure you surprise me. You've got to do it. Yeah.
The three of them responded enthusiastically. Their faces were all stained with tears. They were smiling. There was no place for Zell and her father in a Japan run by the American and Chinese occupying forces. All they could do was escape to a distant country, and live the rest of their lives quietly. Arrangements were already being made for that on this night. They would cross the Pacific, heading for a distant country whose name would be hidden even from her fellow wandering dogs. Zell wasn't even given time to gather up her things. It wouldn't do to wait until tomorrow. Because of Wang's downfall, the power balance within the JDS had shifted drastically tonight. On this very night, someone who had been close to Wang might tip off the occupying forces about the Saijos. They had to leave Japan before that happened. The car arrived at some storehouse. Several men and a truck were waiting. There was a chance something might happen if they set sail from Tokyo, which was under the direct control of the occupying forces. They were to set off from a port far into the countryside. Zell's father was there too. Zell dashed up to him with tears in her eyes and leapt into his chest. As Zell ran, the three wandering dogs watched her back with a mixture of happiness and loneliness. They knew that the distance between them and Zell, as she ran, would never get shorter again. But they sent her off with a blessing and a smile.
These two are honored guests of Madame Rose. Take extremely good care of them.
We understand, Wayne-san. Now we've settled some of the debt we owe to you. The men were in the smuggling trade. They'd been in charge of the dark side of the coastal port since Caleb's day, and they were currently in dealings with Primavera as well. They would escort the Saijos from here on out. Madame Rose had prepared everything, including fake passports, for this day. Leave the rest to us. We'll head out right away. They've been kept waiting long enough.
I'm counting on you.
Okay, old guy and little lady. Time to guide you to the special sleeping car. We hear you're honored guests. Can't be too careful. Be prepared for it to be a bit cramped for a while. The truck's engine started. The men stamped out their cigarette butts, wordlessly signaling that it was time to go.
You're going already?
Far too fast. The time of departure was approaching. If they had any words to leave with each other, now was the only time. And yet, no words came out. The things happening before their eyes felt like something from a dream, not real at all. The men told Zell and her father to get into the bed of the truck. The bed was packed with furniture. Inside it were several things that could hide people. The father got in first, and then Zell was motioned forward as well.
Zell. We'll always be family, okay? No matter where you go. Yeah, we're the wandering dogs.
Right. Zell, you're the wandering dog's only leader.
Then, here's my final order as leader of the wandering dogs. Right. Don't forget to keep things tidy and clean. And take a bath every day.
It's a little bit more like what their mom would say.
Leave it to us. I'll wipe these guys' backs with a deck brush every night. Fortune comes to people who enjoy every day and keep things sparkling clean. Remember that, okay? Yeah, we know. You taught us the secret tricks to raising fortune. Make sure you put those into practice, okay? No matter what. Wayne-san said it too, right? People abandoned by fortune die. Repeat it. People abandoned by fortune die.
They had reached this day because Zell had brought them fortune. They had survived until this day. And if they continue to work hard and maintain their fortune, then surely, someday, on that day, the Saijo father and daughter left Tokyo. The next day, a freighter entered the Pacific from Osaka Harbor, heading for a far, distant country. And so, the legend of Hotarubi, the assassin from China who raced across the darkness of Tokyo's Chinatowns, ended. No one was allowed to speak of the wandering dogs' involvement during that night. However, without a doubt, it became a night of legend. Gradually, word that they had accomplished something that impressed even Wayne spread through their fellow wild dogs. However, Oliver and the other two didn't let it get to their heads. All that remained inside their hearts were Zell's words. They wanted to become people who would surprise Zell when they were reunited. The three believed that when they achieved this, Zell would certainly come back. However, long, empty reality wouldn't be easily changed by a single night's tears. Even though Zell had given them such a valiant farewell, saying they'd meet again after the others became spectacular. Ever since that day, the three spent their time absent-mindedly, as though exhausted. And on that very sad note, this is where I'll end it for now. Because, ow, my voice hurts. And, it looks like we're getting a new scene from here, so this is a good place to end it. It should be at roughly 2 hours-ish. So many things happened that I did not see coming at all. Like, not even a little bit, I'll be honest. I honestly did not think that Zell would be leaving. Didn't see all those people joining Primavera. I thought it would be more like an underdog thing. Wong was so thoroughly defeated. Did not expect that. I was sure they'd kick his ass, but not to this level, you know? And at the same time, they have to sacrifice a lot. Which does explain why, in an earlier episode, I believe Rose said, you know, all the people are gonna hate us for this. Which, yeah, now we know why. Ooh. Wow. We'll find out how this all pans out next episode. I'm assuming that we're gonna get a wrap up and then it's gonna be the end of season 3. I don't know that for sure, of course. But that's the vibe I'm getting. So we'll see how that goes. And then we'll just move swiftly onward to season 4. I'm excited for that because I have no clue what's gonna happen. Like, all of the seasons so far have been very surprising, honestly, and in the best way. It's great. Okay. on that note, I'll try to keep it short for realsies this time. Because, I don't want to ramble for another half hour. But I just might. Give me a reason and I will. But no, I don't have as much to say as last time anyway, so it should be fine. Okay, what I do want to point out, mention, whatever. Ryukishi, author of Rose Guns Days and Umineko, is writing a new he's doing the script for the new Silent Hill. Silent Hill F, I believe. And it was very quiet around that for such a long time that I thought maybe it quietly got cancelled. But no, we got a trailer earlier this week. So if you haven't seen that yet, and you're watching this in like a sort of current-ish time frame, and if you like the video games, just all of the video games, not Silent Hill specific, because you would have already seen it. But check that out. It's peak Ryukishi, I have to say. It's very, it's, the kind of subjects that you can expect from him, really. In a good way. Because it also means that it's probably going to be handled well and written well, so love that. He also brought in Dai and Saki from who he collaborates on music with, and who did the music for... I think yes, of Zan, but they did music for Rose Guns Days, Umineko, Higurashi, I believe, as well. So, that's cool. I'm not gonna play it because I'm a scaredy cat, but I will watch other people play it. So that's fun. Yeah, no, I think that's neat. Let's see. I think that should be it. Yep. That means I can actually keep it short this time. Wow. I don't know exactly when this is going to go up on the interwebs. Christ, I'm so old saying interwebs. Back in my day, that was like a joke thing that you would say. Nowadays, obviously nobody says that. You have to understand, I'm very old. But I'm aiming for April right now. So if you're watching this in April, congratulate me, I guess, on getting things done on time for once. I don't know. You don't have to do that. It's but I'm hoping I'm gonna try to wrap up all of Rose Guns Days by June-ish. Well, okay, it'll probably be July, given the general length of these seasons. So that's the aim right now. It might be a little later. I don't know how long these episodes are. These seasons. But that's the plan. And then after that, I will take a little break. And I already have some stuff in the works for what I'll be reading next. I have 2 potential games. Neither of them are out yet, but I've played the demos. They're looking pretty good. So, we have that to look forward to, long term. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. Hope to see you again next time. And, have a good... Have a good day, year, week, month, hour. Have a good next couple of seconds. Have a good tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks again for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.